This is Boxing Tickets NI. We are delighted to be joined once again with Conor the Kid Coyle. I was just saying to you as we were starting off, it, I think the last time I spoke to you, obviously on Zoom, obviously I speak to you regularly, obviously in messages, but I think the last time I spoke to you in an interview was before your fight fell through with Felix Cash, I think, on the Conor benn card. I guess probably it's a good place to start, probably more than anything. You had that obviously big shot, it was obviously fight week and everything else, and it fell through. At that stage, did you think, because we've obviously spoke before, but you want an opportunity, want to be on a big platform and everything else, when that dropped off, did you think, this is my one chance gone? How am I going to get it back again?
No, I didn't let it affect me too much. And that mind, no, that mind frame, I didn't let that get to me. I knew I was going to have another opportunity. I just didn't know when it would have came through, but I knew opportunity was going to come again. But I mean, it's here now, and I'm just thankful for another opportunity again. They get to that level.
Obviously, I think since the last time we spoke, you become a father again. You also already have kids, don't you? So obviously, you know, another child there in September. I guess that sort of break, I think this has been the longest spell sort of since COVID, where you haven't had a fight. Your last fight was in August, so you've obviously got to spend a bit of time with obviously your newborn and stuff there. Does it feel any stranger obviously having another one? I guess this is where you need the bigger fights now for more mouths to feed.
Well, that's it. There's another mouth to feed now, so I'm more need for these big fights. 3 kids now, and no big responsibility. But the wife back home, she's doing brilliant when she can look after them when I'm not there. She knows I'm away doing business, and I'm here to take care of business. That's what it's for them as well. And they end up, it's all for the family and for myself and my career, So it obviously helps push on a little more now of an extra mouth to feed, So it'll all work out in the end up.
And I guess like you've sort of been preparing, sort of, I know obviously you talked to us initially, sort of said that it was looking like it was going to be on the Berlanga mccrory card. Have you sort of known for a while and just been waiting for a date for to sort of lock in? Was that probably the most frustrating part to go, when is the fight so I can sort of plan my camp properly?
We had the call. We would have had about 12 weeks. 12 weeks out of the initial date, I think was January 13th. So I flew, I came to Florida in November time, and the fight was postponed. So it was postponed until it was supposed to be the end of February. So I flew home in December for Christmas for the kids. And then we got another phone call to say that it was going to be February 3rd, which would only give me 5 weeks right after Christmas. So I stayed and spent the days at home with the kids at Christmas, obviously still training. Right after Christmas, I flew back and gave me 5 weeks here now in Florida. They finished the preparations, but I've already been training and I've been taking over, and I've had the rounds of sparring here over November, December too. So, 5 weeks is a good time frame.
I guess in some ways, obviously, as a life as a boxer, sometimes you sacrifice so much. Obviously, getting to spend Christmas with your kids, that's no amount of money can obviously put things in that, and seeing the smiles on their face on Christmas Day. So in some ways, when it was put back from January, it worked out perfectly for you because you got to have Christmas at home in Derry.
Well, yeah, as you said, it worked out okay because initially I was supposed to be here through Christmas Day and all those holidays as well. So I'm glad I was actually there and got to spend the day with the kids on Christmas.
And obviously, like just before we sort of touch on the fight, we're obviously having a great start to the year. Obviously, we're less than 2 weeks now from Lewis Crocker, obviously headlining the card here in Belfast. Then obviously the week after, obviously yourself and Emma Williams, and then obviously a couple of weeks later with Paddy McCrory on as well. It's the Irish is taking over DAZN in 2024 in the first quarter of the year.
Well, the first quarter, yeah, it's a great start with Cocker and the week before me, and then me in Vegas with Amo, and then McCrory a few weeks later in Orlando. It's great start to the year. Three big events, all before March. So it's great start for Irish boxing.
I guess in some ways, obviously your fight's over. Will you stay out in America then, obviously for Paddy's fight, or obviously is it just go back home and get yourself prepped for the next one?
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm based here now in Florida. This is where I'm training. Not too far from where Paddy's fighting. But my fight's in Vegas, so I'll be flying directly from Vegas back into Ireland, back home. I don't wait around. I need to get back to the kids.
You're right, obviously, but time's precious
Get on, get
sometimes.
the business done, get home.
Particularly if you don't get home when you're supposed to, obviously that's when they're going, where's daddy at? You know, it's like daddy obviously loves
Yeah,
boxing and he loves us, so you have to make sure you can spend as much time as possible with them.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I guess it's strange, in a way, obviously, how this fight's come about. Obviously, initially you're supposed to fight Felix Cash. Then, obviously, when that card was pulled off, then it was looking like Amo Williams and Felix Cash. And Felix Cash has sort of went missing, sort of. And I guess the logical sort of step was, I think I'd sort of mentioned before, why not do you and Amo Williams? So it's sort of worked out perfect with you. It's probably got you a better fight, probably a better audience sort of to the fight as well, obviously, being in America as well.
Yeah. Well, the Emma Williams fight has been on the table for us a few times, and we just, things didn't work out, and we couldn't come to terms with certain things in the contract. But then we finally got it. We finally got it. An agreeing point of the contract. I can't remember what happened now, but it was agreed before we were supposed to fight, and then that didn't happen. But then it came through this time for this fight, and everything was agreed on both sides. Obviously with matchroom, hearn. So yeah, this fight's good to go now, and we're locked in now. And there's no going back.
And another great thing as well, obviously for fans and stuff as well, and people watching this, thinking as well, it's going to be on UK timing, obviously it's Irish UK timing as well. So I think it's around about 8, 9 o'clock, maybe at night, sort of your fights could be on it. So like it's perfect. Like, not to go back too much, but I can always remember during lockdown, 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, getting up to watch cards. It's at a probably PC time for everybody now. So there'll be obviously a maximum audience tuned in to watch.
Yeah, well, I heard on the interview that they're looking to hold the fights in Vegas in the afternoon time, which works out good. Get in and get the fight and get in and get performing during the day before it gets any later, and then you can have your night off in and rest, and obviously it works out better for fans back home who's looking to tune in to dazn to watch. It'll be early. I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10 o'clock. We'll probably start back home. If we're 8 hours, we're going to be 8 hours behind in Vegas, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it'll work out well.
obviously on the fight, obviously Amo Williams has sort of had a few words to say, as he always has. He sort of mentioned that he's going to show you levels in boxing. Is sort of has smack talk, is that sort of building you up more, the fact that you've wanted these opportunities? People only have to look at the interviews you've done. You've wanted the opportunities. So is this obviously, do you liken this smack talk from him, where he thinks that he's levels above you? And I guess the quiet man sometimes obviously is a dangerous man. So if you stay quiet and obviously what he's saying.
He can do his talking, or he can do whatever he needs to do to build himself up for this fight. But I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I'm ready, and I know what I have to do. He's talking levels in boxing, and I'm a much more experienced fighter. He's only, I have years and years upon years of training, and I've always trained. He's talking about being an athlete. I've been an athlete in every sport. I've been Gaelic, I've been hurling, I've been football, I've been running. He's talking about being athletic against boxers. I've done everything. I'm a natural athlete. No matter what I put my hand to or what sport I do, I'm pretty decent at it. I'm not a one-trick pony. So he's talking about levels and stuff like that. He's going to know levels when he steps in the ring on February 3rd. And that's all I need to say. I don't need to do any more smack talk or anything like that, but there will be levels in that ring on February 3rd.
And obviously, just for me to guess, sort of touch on it as well. Obviously, you've obviously quite an extensive amateur career. Obviously, from what I can see on BoxRec and things like that, it doesn't look like he's had a lot of fights as an amateur. What have you made of his start to the pros? Obviously, he's 15-0 with 10 knockouts. He obviously seems to have a bit of power, but is that probably against lesser opposition where it makes him look good?
I mean, he had a good start to his career. He's putting guys away. He's a good finisher. he's relentless, and he just keeps coming forward, you know. So, but anybody he's been in the ring with, they've all shelled up and let him do what he wants to do. You know, he's never had anybody put it on him, or anybody nowhere near my skill level have been in the ring with him. And I think that'll show, you know. Reaching or going back on the amateur experience too, I'm well more experienced on that side. I've had over 200 amateur fights, well over 200. And then I've 20 rounds of professional, and I have the rounds under my belt as well as a pro. I know I carry power in the professional game, and I've just seemed to be getting stronger and stronger as each fight has gone on recently, last couple of years. I've been sitting down on my shots and turning on them a lot more. So I just feel like I have my peak now, you know, or not my peak, I've just got stronger, you know, I've got that strength. It just came out of nowhere, really. So I know I have that behind me too. And I have the rounds under my belt. So
it must be the Irish thing sort of there, all the threes, 33. Obviously that's you've hit your sort of rhythm now, sort of your 33, and sort of I guess sometimes when you probably know, you know, there is a limit, and obviously in age and things like that in boxing nowadays, although, you know, we looked last night at the Turbiev at 39, he just seems to keep carrying power and everything else. There seems to be that ceiling. So I guess you probably have to realise that you're over 7 years as a pro now, coming into your 8th year. You know, obviously there's not 10 years left in the sport, so you always have to capitalise on these opportunities. So probably that's why you were seeing the best of you coming through.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's I'm got I'm a little bit older as well. You know, I think that's a bit to do with, you know. I think I just carrying that strength through as I'm getting older, and I'm getting bigger as well. I don't know whether that's due to just the training, or I'm just getting bigger. I just feel like I'm getting stronger anyway. Like man strength, as they always say, before you hit 35, you get your man strength. I think maybe that's just that coming through, but no, I'm confident in myself, and I just feel like I'm getting better each camp.
Obviously, sometimes within Irish boxing, and obviously you're not so much based here, and obviously fighting so much, you can go under the radar with things. Is this the sort of, not that you need to sort of give yourself to fans and sort of get people talking more of you, but to put yourself in line, and this looks like it's going to be a final eliminator for the WBA middleweight title. This is a perfect opportunity for you now to put yourself there on that final step. You've always said, I'm obviously going to win world titles. This is your last step before fighting for world title. So this is now the perfect opportunity for you to show everybody who Conor Coyle is and what he's about.
Yeah, well, that's what I've always said. I feel the better of the opposition in the ring with me, the better it's going to bring out in me. You know, I step on with the likes of the start of my career and all these journeymen. You know, I think I bring myself to their level. Where if I step on the ring with a world champion, I'm going to bring myself to the world championship level. That's the way I've always performed, even in the gym, or even whoever I'm sparring, whatever level they're at. I always seem to just drop it or raise it. So, and I always just seem to switch it on fight night anyway. You know, there's just a certain switch, and once it hits fight night, I flick it a button and I'm ready to go.
Obviously, a win in February 3rd is obviously massive for the career. Obviously, what does it do for you? Does it sort of maybe install more confidence that you sort of, you know, we are that one step left to go to become a world champion? Or what does this win in February 3rd do for the career of yourself?
Well, getting this one February 3rd will set me up massively for the rest of the year. You know, we'll have a few more fights under the matchroom. We get this win in 3 weeks' time. And obviously a world title eliminator, so I'm assuming the world title fight will be in 2024, but I'm not going to look too much further in the future until I get rid of ammo on February 3rd.
Yes, that's a good way to look. Sometimes if you mention too far ahead, then the next thing Ammo's saying, you're looking past them and everything else. Are you looking forward to, obviously, I guess, being the zone all around the world? Obviously, it's massive exposure. It's probably the biggest fight, I would probably say, of your career to date. IBF probably ranking on the line as well, because Ammo's currently ranked with IBF as well as above you in the WBA. So, you know, it could open up other doors where, you know, you could fight another champion in another weight category as well. So this could be the final step before a world title.
Yeah, definitely. I'm fighting for his belt as well. You know, he has the IBF, so when I beat Damo, I'll have the top 10 IBF ranking as well. You know, I should take that too, which is good, and it opens up more doors, as you said, and to the other organizations, you know, and not just the WBA. But no, that's what we're all about. We want to get into all these organizations and you know, and push for any of the world titles that's available. They fight for, you know, and just getting in line. And if an opportunity comes, then we should be ready to take it.
Just to throw them on out there, obviously it looks like Katie Taylor and Chantel Carmen's going to have their trilogy fight in Croke Park or the Aviva around May, June time. You obviously win this fight and then fight for world title on the undercard of that. That'd be the perfect scenario.
That would be absolutely mind blowing if that happened, and getting the fight for a world title on Irish soil. That would be absolutely fantastic. So it would.
I guess, you know, we're seeing Irish boxing's obviously booming. 15 shows here last year, and you obviously keep, you know, in regular contact. You know, it's not like when you fight in America, you forget about boxing. You obviously follow it religiously. For you, probably is 2024. Hopefully, let's say get the Emma Williams one out of the way, and then are you maybe looking to get a fight back at home?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I can't go making these fights. You know, it just if it comes, it comes. You know, when I beat Damo on February 3rd, everything goes my way. I would love for Eddie to put me on the Katie Taylor card at home. That would be definitely a dream to be fighting, especially if it's in Croke Park, and especially if it's a world title. But even if it's not a world title, I would still like to fight at Croke Park, because I definitely wouldn't have that opportunity again.
I think the last time there was a card at Croke Park was Muhammad Ali, and that was over. I think it was over 50 years ago as well. So, you know, to think in 50 years, could be 50 years before someone fights there again. People will not forget Conor Coyle won a world title in Croke Park. You know, it's the stuff of dreams.
Yeah, 100%. That would be, as I said there, it would be mind blowing. Just would be phenomenal feeling. You know, you'd never forget that feeling.
And finally, obviously, just before I let you go, have you any message, obviously, you want to give to Emma Williams? Obviously, we're just over 2 weeks out now from the fight. Is there anything you want to say to him? Obviously, I don't know. Obviously, sometimes people like to say things, they rile them up. Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
No, I'll just keep myself. I'll keep my mouth shut and keep myself quiet. I'll just psychologically prepare myself, and he can do what he needs to do to psych himself up. But I just like staying quiet, keep myself humble, and I know what I have to do when the time comes.
Definitely. Well, look, obviously, thank you very much for your time, Conor. Obviously, we know we're going deep into the end of camp. For anybody, obviously, it's not aware, obviously, Conor obviously fights Emma Williams on the Conor benn Dobson card on dazn on February the 3rd in Las Vegas. Bring home the win, Conor, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you very shortly afterwards.
Thank you, buddy.
Cheers, Conor. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.